I'm just going to say it. If you think you've had a bad run-in with an HOA president, you haven't met the woman who chained my moving truck to her mailbox and called the cops on me for stealing neighborhood assets. Yeah, you heard that right. I wish I was exaggerating. Honestly, I do. But that metallic snap of the padlock still echoes in my head sometimes. So does her voice, shrill and echoing through the cul-de-sac. You're not leaving without my written permission. It was like being stuck in a reality show, just without the prize money. I remember grabbing at those chains, desperate, and she shoved me so hard my back hit the gravel. These belong to the community now. She actually yanked my house keys right out of my hand. Stones started flying, literal landscaping rocks bouncing off my truck's windows, the glass crackling into those spiderweb patterns that make you suck in your breath and brace for impact. My driver ducked behind the steering wheel, muttering, "Ma'am, this is insane." I wasn't sure who he was talking to, her or the universe. So I yelled back, "I'm calling the police." Karen, orange HOA vest glowing in the morning sun, just jabbed her finger at me and spat. "You're stealing HOA property." What she didn't know, and here's where it gets good, is my son Marcus is an FBI agent. And what Karen just did, that's about 6 different federal crimes, give or take. If you've ever wondered what you'd do when your HOA president goes full psycho, well, this is what it looks like. I'd love to hear your stories, by the way, because nothing could top mine. Or at least I hope not. So yeah, my name's Dalton Reed. I'm 58, a contractor by trade, and apparently public enemy number 1 in Meadowbrook Estates. 2 years back, I lost my wife, Sarah, to cancer. After that, the house felt like a mausoleum. Her coffee mug still on the counter, her glasses on the nightstand. I couldn't breathe there anymore. So I bought a cabin up by Lake Hartwell, Sarah's favorite fishing spot. "We'll retire there someday," she always said. Well, someday showed up, and I showed up alone. 12 years ago, Meadowbrook Estates seemed perfect. Fancy suburb, property values climbing, and an HOA that, at first, looked like it actually did its job. I'd paid off the house. It should have been my ticket to freedom. That's before Karen Peton happened. Karen's well. Imagine if a real estate agent and a prison warden had a kid. That's her. For 8 years, she ran the HOA from her corner mansion. She's the type to measure your grass with a ruler, fine you for the wrong shade of Christmas lights. Poor Mrs. Samantha once got charged $50 for planting yellow marigolds instead of the approved white ones. You hear the click of Karen's measuring tape? That's the sound of doom. 3 weeks before my move, I followed every rule, filed all the paperwork. 30 days notice, 0 debts, every T crossed. Karen rejected my application at the next board meeting. Insufficient community impact assessment, she said, all serious. I asked her what that even meant. She flashed this shark smile and told me I need a certified HOA transition consultant. Cost $2,500. And, surprise, the consultant was her sister Brenda. You know extortion when you smell it. She called it procedure. I refused, obviously. That's when the real fun started. Overnight, orange cones appeared in my driveway, unauthorized relocation zone signs all over. Then, out of nowhere, certified letters got sent to the seller of my cabin, saying I was fleeing debts. All lies, but property deals fall apart over rumors. Facebook lit up with posts. Dalton Reed is abandoning his responsibilities. You ever taste betrayal? It's bitter like burnt coffee. Marcus, that's my son, the FBI guy, called me that night. Dad, this is harassment. I shrug it off. Son, it's just HOA drama. I can handle one middle-aged real estate agent. He just laughed. Sometimes there's no difference between this and the mafia. I thought he was joking. Thing is, Sarah had started digging into Karen before she died. Found weird USB drives, old bank records. Turns out, Karen had been running scams for years. Sarah died, trying to protect our neighborhood from a predator. You ever want to punch yourself for missing the signs? Yeah, me too. Because Karen wasn't just power-hungry. She was clever. HOA presidents can't just invent rules. State law says they need a homeowner vote. But who reads bylaws, right? So, moving day came, in spite of Karen's sabotage. Movers showed up right at 7. White truck, uniforms, the works. Karen bursts out in her bathrobe, curlers bobbing, screaming about illegal commercial vehicles. My driver, a saint, tried to explain we were parked in visitor parking. Then Karen announced she needed to inspect every box. Community property, she called it. She thought I was stealing what, paperwork? The wild look in her eyes should have told me she was hiding something huge. She vanished inside and came back with chains. Mrs. Samantha watched from her window, shaking her head. The other neighbors pretended not to see a thing. You know that cold morning air, thick with fear and fresh mulch? I swear I could smell her garden even through the madness. She came back out transformed. Gone was bathrobe Karen. Now it was full regalia, orange vest, clipboard, measuring tape on her hip. She even brought back up 3 neighbors, forced to play her suburban security squad. She started shouting for the whole street. You're violating Section 47B, unauthorized asset removal. I didn't even know there was a Section 47B. I started filming her on my phone. She pointed at my mailbox. That mailbox belongs to the HOA until you complete the exit procedures. I told her I put that thing in myself, numbers and all. Those numbers belong to us, she shot back. She was claiming my house numbers, my literal address. The crazy was strong that morning. Then, zip-tie handcuffs. Fresh from the Amazon box, probably. I'm making a citizen's arrest, she said. The movers looked at each other like they'd wandered onto the set of a sitcom. Lady, I'm not getting involved, my driver muttered. You're aiding and abetting a criminal. Karen shrieked, voice cracking. But her backup? They wouldn't meet my eyes. Shuffling, sweating, the smell of vanilla perfume and fear mixing in the air. I called to my neighbor, Tom. You really think I'm stealing my own mailbox? Tom just stared at his shoes. Karen said if I didn't help, she'd fine me for my offense. Light bulb moment. Her witnesses weren't supporters. They were victims. Mrs. Patterson, the sweetest old lady, piped up. She threatened to report my dog for barking. Bella's 12 and barely makes a sound these days. Karen lost it. They're lying, she screamed. No, I said, holding my phone up. They're finally telling the truth. Even Mike, young dad from down the street, found his voice. Karen, this is wrong. You can't force us to lie for you. That's when Karen lunged for my keys. I yanked them back. She grabbed my wrist, and I twisted away. You're assaulting me. On camera, I said. The moving driver was filming now, too. Ma'am, you tried to bribe me to accidentally damage his stuff. He grinned. It's all on dash cam. Karen's face turned white as chalk. Here's a fun fact from my contractor days. You can't detain someone for property disputes. What Karen was doing, that's kidnapping by state law. I dialed 911. Karen started dialing too, screaming about theft and assault. While we waited, Mrs. Samantha shuffled over. Dalton, I need to tell you something. She whispered. Karen tried to seize my garden shed last month. Said it violated HOA rules. Tried to make me sign it over. I asked if she had the paperwork. She nodded. There's more, she whispered. 3 other families. Johnson's deck, Martinez's driveway, even Mr. Frank's workshop. She's been stealing property, Dalton. That was when the sirens came. 2 police cars, lights flashing. Karen went into full performance mode. Tears, dramatic hand gestures. Officers, he's stealing community property. His mailbox, his house numbers, secret documents. Officer Martinez, tired eyes, turned to me. Is this your property? I handed him my deed. Paid in full. Taxes current. Karen sputtered. Officer Martinez cut her off. HOA rules don't override legal property ownership. You can't steal someone's mailbox. The other officer held up the zip-tie cuffs. Ma'am, did you try to restrain him? Karen's brain short-circuited, silent for once. The cops gave her a warning about false reports and left. You'd think that would end it. You'd be wrong. 2 in the morning, my doorbell rang. Karen, clipboard, flashlight, wearing a rent-a-cop uniform, declared, "Emergency HOA inspection." I told her it's 2 a.m. There's no such rule. She insisted. Section 23C allows emergency inspections anytime. I'd helped write the bylaws. No such section. I blocked her at the door. She reeked of wine and vanilla. I slammed the door, called 911. By morning, Karen had filed an emergency city complaint. Claimed I'd made illegal renovations. The inspector came out, patient guy, looked around, checked my permits. "Everything's in order, Mr. Reed. This complaint is frivolous." As he left, Karen waved a police report at empty air, claiming I'd stolen thousands of dollars worth of community property. My mailbox, $50. House numbers, $15. My driveway, $4,880. My driveway. She'd lost it. That afternoon, my moving company called. "Mr. Reed, we got a cease and desist letter from Peton Legal Services accusing us of aiding a crime." Peton Legal Services didn't exist. Karen had cooked up a fake law firm using Microsoft Word. But then she crossed the line. I got home to find my locks changed. New deadbolts. A note. Property secured pending HOA investigation. I called Tom, my neighbor. "She told us you'd been evicted," he said. I had to pay a locksmith to get back inside. She'd gone through my things, but she'd left a manila envelope on my counter, full of bank statements for a weird account. Money going from HOA funds to her sister's consulting business. Sarah used to say, "Criminals always trip over their own lies." Looks like Karen just did. I took photos of everything. Called Marcus the next morning. Then, the big guns. Karen put a fake lien notice on my door. Claimed I owed $15,000 in back fees and fines. All for violations that didn't exist. She even called Child Protective Services. Claimed Marcus was mentally unstable, trying to mess with his FBI clearance. Then she tried to torpedo my cabin deal, calling my realtor, saying I was under federal investigation. She was trying to ruin every part of my life. Marcus called me, furious. "Dad, I'm under review at work. Someone claimed I'm using federal resources for personal vendettas." Karen had tracked his calls, filed complaints, tried to get his access revoked. That night, the doorbell rang again. A man in a cheap suit with foreclosure papers. They were fake. Wrong court numbers, wrong signatures. "Sir, these are fraudulent," I told him. "The lady paid me $50, he admitted, nervous. "She just made you an accessory to mail fraud." Here's the twist. Marcus was always 3 steps ahead. The process server had called him, gave him Karen's number, email, payment info. Marcus checked her out. "Dad, she's done this in 3 other states. She's a serial HOA scammer." The pieces all fell into place. Sarah's files, the shell companies, the fake consultants. It was all a money laundering scheme. Sarah had left everything I needed, notes, files, even a letter from the state attorney general, confirming they were about to investigate Karen before Sarah got too sick. Karen had threatened my wife, used her illness as leverage. And now, she was threatening my son, too. Marcus flew in from D.C., briefcase in hand. We dug through Sarah's files. Found everything: fraudulent elections, fake companies, even proof that Karen tried to buy up distressed properties with stolen HOA money. "She's using your move as a trigger for a financial audit," Marcus explained. "If you leave, she can't hide the missing money." We rallied the neighbors. Mrs. Samantha, turns out, was a retired IRS auditor. She had 3 years' worth of forensic spreadsheets. Board VP Janet brought fake notices. Tom admitted he'd paid Karen cash to avoid fake fines. Mike, the young dad, got hit for $300 for the wrong mailbox color. Piece by piece, we built our case. Marcus coordinated with the FBI, documented everything. Mrs. Samantha traced every stolen dollar through shell companies in Delaware. Contractors came forward unpaid for community projects that never existed. Karen's racket was massive. Then, Karen went full villain. She broke into my house to plant fake drugs. Got caught on camera. Slashed my truck tires. Tried to bribe my movers to lose my stuff. Filed fake federal restraining orders. Even impersonated U.S. Marshals with process servers. Her last stand? A press conference. She held up Sarah's investigation files, the ones proving her guilt, and tried to frame me, Marcus, and Mrs. Samantha as the criminals. That night, the emergency HOA meeting drew more neighbors than I'd ever seen. News crews outside. Karen gave a performance worthy of an Oscar, accused me of everything short of arson. Janet, the VP, stood up. Karen, the board voted. You're out. Mrs. Samantha, calm as a lake, said, You offer me $5,000 to stay quiet. I recorded it. Marcus stood, badge visible. Mrs. Peton, you're under federal investigation. Karen tried to run. FBI agents cuffed her, cameras flashing. As she was let out, the room erupted in applause, a standing ovation. The FBI listed the charges: racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering, 23 counts. Neighbors hugged each other. Justice after years of fear. That's not the end, though. Karen got 8 years in federal prison, plus 5 years supervised release. Every penny stolen got paid back to the homeowners. Her sister Brenda got probation. The pool finally got built, the gardens replanted, and Tom, who'd been too scared to stand up, became our new HOA president. His first rule? Monthly budget reports. No one person ever controls the books again. Marcus went back to D.C., a hero. The FBI made our case required reading for financial crimes. Texas passed new laws for HOA transparency, Sarah's Law, they called it. I started a scholarship in Sarah's name for cancer research, so some good could grow out of all this pain. And me? I finally made it to that cabin by Lake Hartwell. No more padlocks. No more HOA nightmares. Just me, the sunrise, and the memory of a woman who saw the truth when nobody else dared to look. Sometimes I sit out there with a mug of her favorite coffee, thinking justice can happen. It just takes a little courage, a lot of stubbornness, and maybe a son who happens to be an FBI agent. But here's the thing I still chew on, sitting by the water. How many Karens are out there, hiding behind bylaws and fake authority, terrorizing honest people? Where's the line between power and abuse? Would you have stood up if you were in my shoes? Or would you have kept your head down, hoping someone else would step up? I want to hear your stories. Your own HOA nightmares. The time someone went too far and how you fought back or didn't. Tell me where you stand. Because if there's one thing I learned, it's this: silence protects the powerful, but stories set us free.